Hi, I'm Christian Brindle, and welcome to the Everything Medicare Podcast. What's up, Everything Medicare Podcast Nation? This is Christian Brindle. Hope this episode finds you doing well, wherever you are and however you might be listening to us today. Today is Saturday, December 7th, folks. We have arrived on the very last day of the Medicare Open Enrollment Period. AEP, they call it, the annual election period, AEP for short. And folks, today at midnight is the last chance you have to make a change if you want to change from a Medicare Advantage plan to original Medicare with a supplement and a prescription drug plan, or vice versa, or if you want to change from a prescription drug plan to another prescription drug plan, or if you want to change from a Medicare Advantage plan to another Medicare Advantage plan, and so on and so on. Today is the last day you can do so. I sincerely hope that you made your preparations long before today, and you didn't wait until today, although I expect that we'll probably have some last-minute people. Now, folks, just a refresher on kind of what I talked about last week. We will be doing 3 episodes as normal, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday next week, which will be the second week of December. But after that point, we're going to take a break, and we will not be doing episodes for you the remaining 2 weeks of December. So that would mean the third week of December and the week of Christmas. Of course, I'm taking a break, and we're going to be taking a break here at my offices from doing podcasts. If you're a client of ours, it doesn't mean we won't be in the offices, but we're not going to be doing podcasts. We're just taking a breather. We will start up again first week of January with our regularly scheduled program. So just an FYI, if you don't see any podcast episodes coming from us the remaining 2 weeks of December, that is why, okay? So today, folks, I have a really interesting episode for you, in my opinion, and it was actually brought to my attention by a client in our office from one of our other agents, and I did some research on it, and I thought it was really interesting, and it could potentially help some people, but there are some downfalls to it, and that is a no-interest medical credit card. I'll say it again, a no-interest medical credit card that exists. Basically, this credit card will provide no interest on purchases for medical costs, hospitalizations, doctor's office visits, urgent care facilities, durable medical equipment, surgeries, hospital stays. I think I already said hospital stays, but you name it. Prescription drug costs, potentially. Dental, vision, hearing, veterinary bills. Okay, a variety of different things. And it's a no-interest credit card. And that's not saying that it's like a MSA or anything, or HSA or anything like that, to where it just isn't money that pays for and you never have to pay it back. It's a credit card. And it's a no-interest credit card for a certain amount of time. And I wanted to kind of give you an idea about how this kind of program works and who can it potentially benefit. Let me start by telling you a story. There was a client here in our offices that potentially could have used something like this if I'd known about it earlier, and I wish I did. It's kind of a new program from my understanding. But there was a client of ours that has a dental vision hearing program through us. I'm a big advocate of dental vision hearing programs, as you may know if you've listened to this podcast for some amount of time. Dental vision hearing programs basically come in and provide coverage for 3 areas that Medicare plans are, for the most part, fairly limited. That would be dental, vision, and hearing. Now, there are some Medicare Advantage plans that come with a whopping amount of dental, vision, and hearing coverage, but for the most part, most of them don't. Most of them are going to come with preventative dental. Most of them are going to cover fillings, but not crowns, bridges, root canals, and those kind of things. Most of them will only pay $100 a year towards glasses, if anything. Okay, so dental, vision, hearing programs can be very helpful, and especially if someone's on a Medicare supplement plan, because a Medicare supplement plan supplements Medicare. It pays after Medicare. It will only pay for something if Medicare pays first. Medicare doesn't pay squat towards dental, vision, and hearing coverage. Medicare will pay, and I always get this question phrased this way to me, well, what happens if I get in a car accident and my teeth get knocked out, or what if my ear's bleeding? Those are medical costs, folks. Medicare will pay for things in your mouth if you have a medical cost, or if your ear's bleeding, or if you have an ear infection. Those are medical costs. Medicare is going to pay for those kind of things. Or if you need cataract surgery, those are medical procedures. What I mean by dental, vision, and hearing is hearing aids, hearing exams, bridges, crowns, root canals, cleanings, extractions, fillings, those kind of things. Glasses coverage. Medicare is not going to pay for those kind of things. So dental, vision, hearing plans can be quite useful. Are they perfect? No. Are they helpful? Yes, they can be. So we had a client of ours who's had a dental, vision, hearing plan for some amount of time, and he's used it on his preventative care. I think he's had a filling here and there. He's basically broken even on the plan, right? The way dental, vision, hearing plans work for the most part is a lot of them will pay anywhere between 60 to 80% on your medical bills, and usually they get better the longer you've been on them, but they usually will pay anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500 per year out towards your benefits. That's the maximum payout per year. And they typically cost anywhere between $20 to $40 a month, depending on your state and your market and what's available in the insurance company, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they typically have waiting periods in the first year. I've done episodes about this. Go back and listen to it if you want to know all about those plans. But the point of my story is this. We have a client at our offices that had this policy for a number of years. He's broken even until this year. This year, he had about $10,000 to $12,000 in dental bills done. Tremendous amount of work done. A lot of it was implants, which dental, vision, hearing plans do not cover. This is vital. However, he had a lot of extractions done, a lot of x-rays, a lot of bridge work. A ton of work was done in his mouth. A lot of it was coverable services, about $5,000 to $6,000 of it to be specific. The rest of it was the implant work. So his particular plan would pay, he's in year 2 of his particular plan, which it's a 60% year 1, 70% year 2, 80% year 3 type of program. So his particular plan would pay 70% of this bill up to the maximum. For your information, he has a $1,500 maximum payout limit on his plan every calendar year. So 70% of $5,000 to $6,000, he easily would be put into that $1,500 mark. Now, though, here's the issue. Here's the difficulty on this. His dentist office that he went to would take no insurance. None whatsoever. Zero. Zip insurance. So, does that mean that his dental, vision, hearing program that he has through us is no good? No! It still would work. This particular program we have him with would reimburse him for what they would pay out. However, he had to pay out of pocket first, and then he had to apply for reimbursement. Now, anytime you apply for reimbursement with anything, it's pretty typical that the insurance company will continue to ask for more information. It has to be processed. It takes some time. This type of program would be very nice for that client of mine because he could have put it on the credit card, paid off what he needed to pay off, had no interest involved, but he could have waited for this $1,500 to come through. Now, it took about 2 months for him to get his $1,500. He finally got it in the last couple of weeks, thank goodness, and we worked really hard to get it done for him and kind of expedite it. There were some extenuating circumstances. One of those is they sent him a check in the mail. He has the same name as his son, and the post office is always messing up their mail and sending his mail to his son's mail, and his son's mail to his mail. So they sent the check out several times, but it ended up going to different places, and because it couldn't get rerouted, their confusion with these two similar names between him and his son, he's senior, his son is junior, it kept getting returned back to sender, and it slowed everything down. We had to kind of change it to the point where they were going to deposit the money into his account, which took another amount of time because they had to make sure that the checks were canceled first. It's a big, long thing. With a lot of extenuating circumstances, usually reimbursement programs aren't going to take months at a time. That's not a typical thing, folks. But my point is, it was extenuating circumstances, and it can happen from time to time. This client of mine would have probably benefited from a program like this if the dentist was a participating provider. just an example where something like this can be helpful. You're waiting for a reimbursement, you're waiting for a payment to come, and let's say you don't have $10,000 to $11,000 like this person did to pay out of pocket. But you need the work done. What are you going to do? Well, this credit card can be a solution for some people. I did some research. I came across it. I thought it would be fantastic to do an episode about it. And I'm going to have to tell you all about the details, but not before I take a break and hear from this week's sponsor. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back, and I will unveil what this credit card is.
What's up, everybody? This is actually Randy W. Hall, Mr. Nice Guy Medicare Advisor, not Christian Brindle, your esteemed host. I'm here to tell you about my Medicare agency, Mr. Nice Guy Medicare Advisor, based here in Tennessee. For the past 10 years, I've been helping Medicare beneficiaries just like you in Tennessee and Kentucky maximize their Medicare. If you're a regular listener of this podcast, you know Christian always encourages you to deal with a broker in your state who sells all the different plans and will give you not just a quote, but also advise you and educate you in a way that is simple to understand. We know how confusing and overwhelming the whole process can be. We do it all for folks on Medicare, from supplements to Advantage plans, Part D, cancer products, hospital indemnities, and more. So if you want to get a free quote or a consultation, I urge you to call 615-578-5174. Again, that's area code 615-578-5174. Or for more information, you can visit my website and read all about me at MrNiceGuyMedicareAdvisor.com. That's all one word, MrNiceGuyMedicareAdvisor.com. And again, why deal with a jerk when you can deal with a nice guy?
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with me through that break, and I hope you enjoyed that message from Randy W. Hall. There's one more day if you live in Tennessee and Kentucky to work with Randy, the Mr. Nice Guy Medicare Advisor, on your Medicare. Give him a call if you haven't already, if you feel like you could use the assistance, folks. Randy's the local guy in those two states, and obviously we recommend working with him if you haven't already. So let's get back into this credit card. What is this no-interest credit card, and how does it work? Well, the name of the credit card is CareCredit, okay? This CareCredit credit card works almost like an insurance plan from the standpoint that it does have a network of providers that you need to go to. Pharmacies for prescriptions, doctors and hospitals for medical bills and clinics, veterinary hospitals or vet offices for your pets. It does work for pets, just so you know. The way that this program works, from the research I was able to do, folks, the research I was able to gather, is you have to go and network with them. Okay? They have about 200,000 participating providers across the country. So your provider may or may not work in that particular network. So that has something to do with it, because if the provider is not in the network, you don't get the no interest. Or it might not even pay. I'm not entirely sure on that. But it's not worth using, okay? The way that it works is they will grant you anywhere between 6 months to 48 months no interest on your medical bills, or your vet bills, or your prescription costs, or your dental, vision, hearing costs, any of their participating cost-sharing amounts, okay? So 6 months to 48 months, what determines how long your month usage is going to be? How long they'll grant you without interest? Well, it depends on your particular provider and the contract that this company has worked out with the provider's office. So it depends on your provider. It does not matter on your credit. It does not matter what your credit score is. It does not matter how much money you have in the bank. But it's zero interest for whatever they grant you, and it's going to be a minimum of 6 months. Excuse me. A minimum of 6 months, a maximum of 48 months. After that point, you're at a 26.99% interest rate, which is a lot like a lot of other credit cards. So at that point, it's not going to do much good for you. But this is something that can come in handy, folks. It can definitely come in handy. You definitely want to make sure that the provider's in the network. And no, CareCredit is not sponsoring this podcast episode. They're not paying me to talk about it. Nothing. I don't benefit jack from you working with this if it's something that can help you. If you have an extremely high medical bill and the medical provider you're working with participates with CareCredit and you sign up and you take advantage of it and you give yourself some time to make these payments, that's another thing, folks. If you're strapped and you're on a budget, this is a solution, a potential solution if you have a ton of upcoming expenses. Okay. You can get it without paying any interest, and you can pay it off little by little over a 6-month period or whatever period they give you. But no, they're not giving us anything. We're not getting anything out of doing this. I just thought there's people out there that could possibly use it, and I thought, what a program that could help people. What a program that could potentially help people. But they're not giving us any kickback, and they're not paying us to talk about this. They're not a sponsor, nothing. I just thought it's something that could help people in certain situations. Okay. So, 200,000 locations, 6 to 48 months, no interest, depending on your provider, and it gives you some time to chip away at a big balance. Instead of having to pay it all at once before it goes to collections, or instead of putting it on a regular credit card where you're incurring interest over that period of time, you can put it on the credit card and break it down into a 6-month thing. So let's say it's $6,000. You can break it down to $1,000 a month instead of $6,000 all at once. For some people, that's life-changing, okay? That can make a huge difference in a person's life. CareCredit. You can determine if your provider is one of those 200,000 participating providers by going on CareCredit's website and looking up the providers, typing in your zip code, and seeing who's there. If you have vet bills that you just can't seem to manage, this could be a solution. There's a lot of vet offices that I noticed that are on there. A lot of them. Okay. This is a solution for some of you folks. Some of you, it's probably not an issue. Some of you can probably just pay out of pocket if you're incurring a situation like this. But it is something that can help someone you may know, a family member. Just keep in mind that CareCredit is something out there that is an option for people. Heck, no interest? No interest for at least 6 months, as much as 48 months? Imagine you had 12 months of no interest to pay that balance off. Bet you have a lot more breathing room than if it was 1 month or 2 months. If you had a bill to pay and you had a deadline that's at the end of the month this month, it gives you a little more wiggle room, folks. Medical bills are tough. Medical bills are hard. Not everybody has the means of being able to just, drop a credit card down and know they're able to pay it off right away. Or drop down cash, or write a check. Some people need options. Here's some options for you. Let's take a break, folks. I'll be back in our third and final segment. I have a few more thoughts I'd like to share on this, as well as what our schedule will look like going into the rest of the year, and then also what we're planning on doing next year. You're not going to want to miss that. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with me all the way to the end on a Saturday, and I'm so grateful that you took some time out of your Saturday to spend it with me, okay? Today is December 7th, the end of the Medicare open enrollment period, and thank you for taking your valuable time to spend it with me, and I'm just honored. Okay, and thank you for everybody that's listened. Thank you for everybody that's supported us all the way through the enrollment period. I'm very proud, folks. I'm very, very proud that we were able to keep to our schedule and not limit it like we did last AEP. Last AEP, we only did 1 episode a week, and there were some weeks we didn't do any episodes because we just didn't have the staff to keep up with the burden. As many of you know, October 15th through December 7th, but probably even before October 15th, probably all the way back to October 1st, all the way through December 7th. Our office is a circus, as is most offices in the insurance industry, but particularly ours. Ours is a circus. And there's a lot going on, and it's really hard for us to keep to a schedule like this, but we made it happen, we made it work, and I'm really proud that we were able to stick to our guns, deliver the content as promised on schedule, and I have you, the listeners, to thank for that, because you make it worthwhile for me and us to do. Okay, we have the best audience in the world, and if you know anybody that's on Medicare or struggling with Medicare and just needs some help, turn them on to our show. Turn them on to the podcast. I guarantee that we have something in our library of content that can help them. Again, this is episode 132. I still am mind blown that we've done 132 episodes and there's people that care enough to listen. A lot of people that care enough to listen all over the country. And I'm flattered and I'm honored, and I hope that the podcast has been of some help to you in wherever you are in your Medicare journey. Folks, what we're going to be doing for the rest of I told you in segment 1 that we're going to be doing 3 episodes next week and then taking 2 weeks off. The episodes we're going to be doing next week, we're planning on doing an episode on high deductible Medicare supplement plans, because we never have, and a couple other insightful episodes. Starting next year, we may or may not have a format change to where we change up the schedule. I'm not sure. At the moment, I'm leaning towards just leaving everything as is. If it's not broke, why fix it? But I want to have on some people, some very influential and smart and intelligent people in the insurance industry on to have more interviews. I know that everybody likes the interviews from various different walks of life, so we're going to try to do that, have some more interviews going, and that's kind of our focus at the moment. As always, folks, if you have a specific topic or struggle that you've had, you can always send me an email at christianb@xmission.com. ChristianB, B as in boy, christianb@xmission.com. X is an X-ray, mission like a mission, MISSION.com, christianb@xmission.com. Send me some suggestions, things you'd like to hear me do an episode about. And who knows, we just may do it if we get enough requests on the same thing. Thank you so much for listening, folks. Hope you had a fantastic Medicare open enrollment period. I, for one, am happy it's over. I'm going to sleep good tonight. Take care, folks. We'll be back next week before we take our 2 weeks off. Thanks so much for listening.